G'day guys, yeah, just something a bit different for my channel today. So I've been doing a few mods to my ute, and I've mounted one of these under tray toolboxes, and it was a little bit tricky and there wasn't a lot of help online, so I thought I'd create this video for anyone that wants to have a crack themselves. It's achievable. It's just a little bit fiddly, that's all, and I'll show you all about that. But yeah, there's the finished product on one side, so I guess that probably took me a little bit of time to do that. It was the first one, but I'll jump around and show you where I'm mounting the other one. So that's it there, and it's obviously just going straight up under here. So right, rest the knees. So yeah, this is a standard alloy tray. I think a lot of them are fairly similar. This one's made by Unicorn, and it's the boxer model. And those toolboxes, I got them from L&G Chivalry. But I think there's a lot of companies that make them. They're 2.5mm thick aluminium, and this one's actually on this side. It's going to store my air compressor in it, so I'm going to hardwire it in there as well and mount it. So that's the next piece. But what this ute's got, and I think a lot of trays can be different, but it seems to be like the modern trays all seem to be the same, is they have these channels, like C channels, that run across here. So what you're looking for is the thicker one, like that one there, and that one there, and where are we? Must have missed one. Yeah, up the front there, that one there. So there's three there that are a little bit thicker, and I can actually fit a bolt on top of that. And what I'm going to do is drill a hole through them and fit a bolt through. I'll show you what that looks like. That's probably the bit that's a little bit odd. You don't see mountings like this. So these, what I'm using here, this is a 35mm long M8 stainless steel bolt. And it's got a serrated edge nut, if you can see the serration on that. And the purpose of that nut is it'll grip onto there and it won't spin when you're trying to do it up from underneath. And it works. So I was a little bit unsure if it would grip, but it does. So what I'm going to be doing is drilling some holes up through there. I'm going to fit that nut through, that's the hard part, and then just let me, it's a bit hard with the GoPro and only two hands. That's going to sit up like that and lock in. I'm going to tighten that up with a spanner. The bottom of that then protrudes through into my blocks, and I've got a nut that I'll stick up on the underside of that. So I'll just show you through the materials I'm using actually. This is all you need. There's nothing too extravagant here, so I'm going to put 6 bolts in this. The guys at L&G sort of gave me some rough directions. There's nothing on paper, and it was a little bit sketchy, so I'm putting 6 in. They said 4 would do, but do a few corrugations, etc., so a little bit of extra strength won't hurt. I'm putting M8 lock nuts on there, just once again corrugations, and also the back of utes vibrate a lot anyway. The other things you'll need is just a drill, a couple of 13mm spanners for the bolts that I'm using. I've got a socket extension there as well with a ratchet, marking pen, bit of silicone, so I'm just going to seal everything up as much as I can. Don't usually do too many water crossings, but in the event I do, or I'm hosing it down after full driving, you know, a bit of water could get in. Try and prevent that. Assortment of drill bits, I've got 2 kits pretty much combined into one, should cover me for most of the holes. And speaking of which, you kind of have to drill bigger holes than what you normally would for an M8 bolt, just because the tolerances, you know, are so fine, and it's given that they're a slotted hole, the bolts will move a bit, so you need a little bit of play. And to counteract that, I've just got some aluminium flat bar here. What is it, 40 by 3mm, which I'm just cutting up into sections, drill an 8mm hole through it, and I'll use that as a larger washer under my nut, just to give it, oops, the door there, just to give it a little bit more strength over time, because the aluminium may sort of you know, round out the holes a little bit when you do a bit of off-road work. So what I'll do, I've already marked up on this one. I copied it off my other box, so those lines should be the right spot for the rails. I'm just going to check that and start drilling some holes. I'll show you what the holes look like after I've done. They're not going to look pretty, but everything's up and under the tray. You can't see it, but they need to be slotted to get those bolts in. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned, or maybe I did, but they're 35mm long. The guys said 30mm would be better. It's okay if you're probably not using it for 3mm washer or 3mm flat bar washer like that, but yeah, you probably wouldn't want to go any shorter than 35 mil is what I've found. So all right, I'll join you again when I've drilled some holes. Alright, so what I've done, I've just drilled the 3 back holes at the moment. I'm just going to put them up and under and just double check that they're in the right spot before I drill the rest of them. Alright, this is another tricky bit. I'm just holding it up, and obviously you need more than one hand to hold it. So I've just got that clamp there. And what I'm doing is, if you look under there, you'll see there's a rail against this part here. I just want to shove it a little bit off that rail, and I'm just going to check that the holes I've drilled mark up with the rails, and then I'll mark them. I'll take it down and drill the other holes that I haven't drilled yet, and then we'll be ready to mark it and then start drilling the rails under the tray. Alright, so I've marked my holes up there. They are in the right spots, so that's good news. Probably just need to push them a little bit that way, maybe 5 mil or something. So I'll put my safety glasses on and do the rest of the drilling on the box, and I'm going to mark them all up there and then start drilling the tray. Alright, so I've drilled the holes. We see that, sort of slotted them on the way. Now I'll just be getting these bolts and seeing if I can this is a little bit fiddly, this bit, but I'll probably, some of them may need a little bit more reaming. See that won't quite get through, so I'll just have to slot that one out a little bit either way, and until I can just get it in, it'll be right. Yeah, it's probably the hardest bit, but just trying to take out enough sort of meat off the aluminium that is enough to get you through without sort of compromising strength. But that's why I've put 6 bolts in, and these are this is fairly sort of strong aluminium we've got here, so yeah, shouldn't be an issue. Alright, so there's the first one in there. So you can see that's about how much you need to slot out, and I'll get them all in, but then I'm just going to tighten them all up so that nut sits down against the top of the frame there. It's really important you have the grippy part of it on the way down, otherwise it won't work. But yeah, I'll just go through and just ream some of these out a bit until I can get the bolt through, and then we're not far away then. Alright, so they're all drilled and in now. The ones on this side, with the angle I could get on the drill, they're actually a lot easier. I don't have to drill as big a hole or ream it out as much. So what I'm going to do now is just clean up all this swarf on the ground here. I'm going to vacuum that up, and then I'll have to get on there and I'll tighten those nuts up with my spanners. Alright, so been busy under there with the spanners. These are all tightened up now, so that grip nut will hold this in place. It can't go up any further, and I'm going to be putting the box underneath and the washer, and then lock nutting that up tight. I'm going to put a bit of silicone up and under it as well, just to make sure that we don't get any water in there if we can help it. Nothing's 100% waterproof, but we'll be pretty close. What else is going on here? I've got to go cut those flat bar washers that I talked about. Oh, the other thing is too, don't tighten them up too tight, because you're going to push the tray away from the rail. They've just got to be nipped up, so yeah, they're nice and firm. They're not going to spin when you're threading your nuts on from underneath. Alright, there's my flat bar washers. Nothing too pretty. You can't see them anyway, they're right up under the thing. They're there just to serve a purpose, not look pretty. Alright, so the box actually went up very easy, better than the first one I did yesterday. I just got my measurements 100% spot on, and it just slotted up, and my holes are big enough that I had a little bit of movement if I needed it. So what I've done, just to hold it in place, these standard just M8 nuts, you can see, I've just threaded them on just to hold it in position, so I get ready for the permanent fixing. So what I'm going to do is put this flat washer on, and then I'm going to, well, before I put it on, I'm going to put a heap of silicone all around that just to give it a bit of a seal, push it up onto the stud, and then lock that under behind it. Yeah, good idea to have a rag handy when you're dealing with silicone. The only other thing I need from this point is my socket extension bar, and maybe a spanner just for where I can't get that in, but I think from memory yesterday I could reach them all with that. Oh, and I have got my AirPods in. Listen to a podcast while I'm doing this. shout out to the Deep Drop podcast if you're into fishing. Not a bad little pod to listen to. Alright, I'll get this on and show you the finished product. Alright, so we're all done. It's all mounted up. There's the front of it. Opens. Nice and sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Look, brace yourself. It's a bit messy up there, but you know, it's strong, and you actually can't see it. To get under and look at it, I need to use the camera pretty much. Can't fit my head in there. Plenty of silicone. Yeah, so that's it. Hopefully this video helps. If you're thinking of having a go at this, this is how it would work on a lot of modern utes. So yeah, good luck with it. Thank you. Let me know if these sort of how-to videos or a bit of DIY stuff is of interest, because I'm always doing little things like this. A lot of my content is around fishing and diving, but you need a rig like this to get you around the place and tow your boat and things like that. So if it's of interest, yeah, I'll say something in the comments, and I'll keep videoing these sort of things that I'm doing. Yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you later.